Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the JDP verse. So I've renamed my channel because I discuss a lot of different things. I thought this would be a more apt name, JDP verse. It's like the metaverse, my own metaverse, my own universe. You know what I mean? So I have decided to put out a new series of videos. This is going to be the first of a series because I don't think I can discuss everything in one video. It's going to be a really long video, and I'm still learning and discovering new stuff. It's basically related to fashion, men's fashion. I've always been interested in men's fashion. At least, like I used to I've like I think since my college days, even before that, in my school days, I always used to watch movies and then go to my tailor and then ask them to, you know, try and stitch stuff that I found in the movies. Uh, and in India we have tailors. Tailoring is not expensive. I realized that after moving here in Sydney, tailoring is very expensive here. But in India, I mean, I'm talking 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it would cost you maybe 100 rupees, 150 rupees, right? For a pant and shirt to be made. Again, I think, I mean, bespoke tailoring for a formal pant and a formal shirt, right? Whereas here it costs you hundreds of dollars, I believe, right? Or 200, $300, I guess, even more than that maybe. So yeah, to give you an idea, so I've always been interested in men's fashion. I keep watching these videos on into the YouTube channels. This one is one of those sartorial talks. Is by an interesting guy. His name is Hugo Jacome. Is looks he I think he's kind of a fashion icon in Europe. There's another YouTube channel it's called Gentleman's Gazette, and so I sometimes I watch. They have nice videos. They give you tips on what to wear and what not to wear, how to wear, and there is this guy Jose Zuniga. I used to watch him around 3 4 years ago maybe, but I realized that they just trying to sell their own products, and then it never ends, right? You keep coming up with stuff, and then you're a YouTuber, you need to put out content. So at one point I realized, oh, this is like a cash grabbing. I don't know. It wasn't. I found it not to be genuine. But these guys, these sartorial, they have a much different and a more formal take on bespoke tailoring, and I learned a lot of stuff because I've never worn a suit in my life, and I'm from India, and I didn't have an I like if we don't wear suits, like especially maybe people who are at a higher position, maybe I'm an IT professional as well, but I'm not at a very high level, managerial position or anything like that. People at that level, they wear it. Like I didn't have to up until now. Maybe in the future, if it demands, I probably will have to wear it. So, and not only because of that, like there are casual jackets as well. So I've never worn. I may have worn a casual jacket once in my life, but I was just trying to understand what exactly the purpose of all these things now. Who came up with this stuff, right? On the one hand, it's all weather, right? Like these jackets and suits and whatnot, these are heavy clothing, right? Mostly from Europe, like the cold countries in Europe. That's where these were invented, and they had a purpose, functional, right? But now it's not just functional anymore. It has become like a mark of sophistication or whatnot. And why is that? That's what I'm trying to understand. Why is wearing a suit considered sophisticated? But because anywhere, any video I watch, like on YouTube, you seem to have these almost snobbish attitude that you can't go out without a proper suit and a pant and proper shoes, and it's considered like high fashion, in a way, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's where my search started. Now I'm still I'm still learning, and in this video we'll just touch upon a few stuff that I came across. So the first question that I asked myself, like, there's a bunch of questions that I've been asking myself. First of all, this thing, right? This suit, and if you're so used to wearing it, and if you're so of the mindset that this is the mark of a sophistication, then you may not come out of that mindset. But if you take a step back and maybe take a Seinfeldish look at it, right? Like, in fact, Seinfeld, in one of his stand-ups, even points out, like, it's such a ridiculous thing to wear, like this suit and a tie and whatnot, right? And it doesn't look necessarily stylish or functional from a third person point of view perspective. So it's all, I believe, programmed in the way we think. But then let's put that aside. Now I'm just trying to analyze, like, what is so sophisticated about wearing a suit. I find personally certain things to be ridiculous. Like, for example, necktie. Now, what exactly is the purpose of this tie? It's such a ridiculous thing to wear, I believe, around your neck, like this hanging thing. But I found out a few pages. I think there's a reason for all of these. Let's start with this. So I was under the impression that maybe the Europeans invented pants, but doesn't look like it. So the pants, I think, were originally worn by Scythians. Now, who are these Scythians? Right. So therefore, there is an interesting article. We do not. Okay, we do not know who invented pants. Okay, but then the oldest known origins, right? So there's no both genders. Armenia. But let's not go that far. Okay, so look at this point here. So earlier examples, so-called string skirts composed of waist where strings. Okay, no, not that. Okay, yeah, this is one in the Western world. The Scythian warriors, both male and female, from Central Eurasia, I believe somewhere near Caucasia, are depicted wearing tight-fitting trousers in Greek art. The Greeks wore a wrapped garment, the chiton, viewed the wearing of trousers as something done by foreigners and females. So how funny is that? Now, currently in our generation, not wearing pants would be considered feminine, right? Like, women wear skirts and I don't know whatnot. But then if you are a guy wearing a skirt, like a kilt or lungi or whatever, it kind of looks feminine, right? But it wasn't the case in ancient Greece, I believe. Look at this. This is what they say. So only the Scythians were wearing pants, and they they have mentioned something here. It probably has got something to do with the domestication of horses. So it was more of a comfort thing, right? Like they had to ride horses, and then skirt would be uncomfortable. So probably invented something in Scythia to ride horses, and that's how pants were invented. Now, where is the Scythia? Scythia. Okay, now there is Indo-Scythians. So this is Scythia. Somewhere near the, what is this, a Caspian Sea or a Black Sea? I don't know. So around that, like Caucasian tribes, I believe, right? Near Turkey and Iran and that part of the Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, maybe that part of the world. Eastern end of Eastern Europe and the beginning of Asia, Western Asia and Eastern Europe, somewhere in that region. So that's an interesting thing. So before that, everyone in the Western world apparently were wearing some kind of skirt, a kilt, or whatnot. Now, let's have a look at this thing. Like this is a typical modern suit, and this is what people wear, right? Like, and so it has a jacket, what do you call that, suit or whatever, a waistcoat, and pant, and a tie, and a shirt. Okay, and now let's see what is this purpose of this tie. And this is what I started searching next. Because tie, I mean, it looks good as long as you're brought up in such a society and then you think it looks good. But from an outsider, right, say for example, if aliens came to Earth and then looked at our costume, right, they wouldn't understand what's the function of this thing called this tie. What is the purpose of this thing? It may not be functional. It could be something like an accessory or something like that. But everything has. But let's first find out like what is the purpose of this tie, because I honestly don't know. So there are a bunch of opinions here. Let's go through one by one. So would argue the tie directs a viewer's attention downwards to the wearer's genitals. Some kind of a primal thing, I guess, maybe. Okay, I've heard it argued some kind of male virility thing. Apart from the somewhat phallic shape that you stress imagination. Okay, the tie also forms a neat arrow, often in a bright dark shoot, pointing directly to a man's genital area. Quite apart from that, is also the only item of male business that you can have any fun with at all. Now women get to wear all sorts of lovely bright colors. So again, it's something to do with the sex organs, the penis or whatever. So does it mean women can't wear tie? Now I've seen this lady here, this Hugo Jacomi's wife, I believe. She wears tie all the time, and yeah, look at this lady here. This is his wife, I believe, and she always wears kind of manly clothes like pants and then waistcoats and then shirts and then neckties and that kind of stuff. So if this is a male virility thing or whatever, why would a woman wear a tie then? Of all the people, the fashion icons like Hugo Chakame and his wife would know better, right? But they still wear it. So I don't know if they analyzed it or they thought about it or whatnot. This is an interesting point here. This is the point of ties to hide those terribly unsightly buttons. This is what I read many years ago when I started searching for this thing. Like I'm doing this research again for the sake of this video, but I've been wondering about this for a long time, and I remember reading in one article saying the buttons, in order to hide the buttons, right? That's why we are tied. Now think about this. Why do we have to hide the buttons? Now I don't understand what is so unsightly about a button. I don't understand. And then I started thinking about it, and it made me realize maybe uh, so what I mean is the buttons are nothing but temporary stitches, right? Say for example, this is a stitch, right? But this cannot be removed and stitched back as and when I want. But the purpose of the buttons, anywhere you have buttons, is to make available that comfort, so that you can get inside it and then get out of it. So it's like it acts as like an ad hoc stitch, right? Like a temporary stitch. And maybe when fashion was evolving back in the day, they thought, okay, these temporary stitches, they don't look good, probably because of that reason. So they had to hide it, and then they came up with this thing called tie, right? But now, like fast forward after a few hundred years, we still have buttons. We have not gotten rid of them. Although we have the technology, we can replace that with a zipper or something, and then hide it behind the flap or whatever. Or they could have come up with something more interesting to replace the buttons. But then we are still stuck with the buttons, right? And probably because we don't find them as unsightly anymore. So if that is the case, now what is the point of a tie then? Right? We might as well get rid of the tie, because it's a ridiculous thing to I don't know, at least I'm like, from a critical point of view, from a functional point of view, I actually like wearing ties. Like in my school, I used to wear ties all the time. I used to have different knots. What, the Windsor, the half Windsor, the full Windsor, the American knot or whatnot. So, but we have all been brought up in a certain. We are all programmed in a certain way, right? To think of certain things as high fashion and sophistication, certain other things as not so much. So in my opinion, what was high fashion maybe 2000, 200, 300 years ago, for some reason got stuck, and you're still following the same thing in the name of sophistication. Now technology has improved. Now we have the technology has evolved to such an extent that we don't need to have these buttons like we have. Look at this t-shirt. I don't have. It's like what I'm trying to say is the minimal the temporary stitches are, the higher the fashion is. In my opinion. So why don't we wear like t-shirts like this? And why is this not considered a mark of sophistication? Because this is a reflection of the technology that we're currently in, right? For some reason it's not the case. We still consider wearing shirts with so many buttons, and then pants. We have pants, we have a zipper in the front, we have buttons in the waist, and as opposed to something like joggers with just elastic and then no buttons at all. That could be high fashion. That, but no, it's not, right? And it's more comfortable as well, right? See, in my opinion, when technology evolves, it makes things more comfortable, more convenient, more easy, more functional. So if we manage to achieve these things with a different, like we have t-shirts, we have different kind of shoes, sports shoes, this shoes and that shoes, but no, these snobs, they are still stuck with this 200-year-old 300-year-old mindset that wearing a suit for some reason is the way to do things, and I don't know why. And if you I learn a lot from their videos. I'm not like trying to what do you call that? I'm not trying to roast their perspective or anything like that. But the more you watch their videos, right, you understand that they are so convinced and they are so unwilling to change the perspective about what is high fashion and what is sophistication, right? For some reason they are stuck with this mindset that wearing a suit, a tie, a waistcoat. Aha. So that's how their mindset is. So what they think is high fashion, to me, is at least 100 years old, right? They are stuck in that generation. They still keep talking about bespoke tailoring, bespoke this, bespoke that, but we have machine made clothes available now, which is technologically advanced and more comfortable, more convenient. But no, they still keep they still stuck with their mindset like bespoke is the way to go. And I don't know why. If you guys agree with me, just leave a comment, let me know. Let's go through a few more comments, right? See, there's another comment that says, was to conceal buttons on a shirt as they are functional rather than attractive. And I still don't know what is so unattractive about a button. Maybe because of this temporary stitching thing, right? Like, that's the only thing I can think of. If you can think of anything, why is buttons, why are buttons considered so unattractive? Please let me know. I'm genuinely don't understand. This probably is like a 200-year-old mindset. I'm from the current generation, and I don't completely understand why would anyone think like that. Buttons, because we have buttons everywhere. Um, the belief is supported by the fact that ties are never worn with dress shirts, which generally have their buttons concealed anyway. What are dress shirts, by the way? Shirts. Still see buttons, yeah. Shirts. Concealed buttons. still see buttons, I guess. Strange, man. Is it something like this? Okay, maybe something like this. Yeah. So why? So this is another option, right? Instead of wearing a tie, people can wear something like this if they find the buttons so unsightly and unattractive. But then I don't know, they probably came up with this concept of a tie, and then for some reason the men started wearing it, and then they found it as a nice accessory to show off, and probably that's how it got stuck as a fashion. Now there's another thing. This thing called the bow tie, and then I believe there is an interesting history behind it as well. So Croatian mercenaries used a scarf to hold their shirt together around their neck. This style was adopted by the French. So again, this again is Croatia is again Eastern Europe. So none of these fashion originated in Western Europe, which is I don't know. It's a bit surprising to me, because I always thought of like modern fashion to have originated somewhere in the Western Europe, maybe in France or England or somewhere. But looks like it's not the case. So again, bow tie is not functional anymore, right? So we have collars and collar buttons. We don't need bow tie anymore, but for some reason we still wear it as a nice accessory. And there's this other ridiculous thing that people wear. Off late, I believe they are not wearing it. It's called the waistcoat. It's not ridiculous if you're used to wearing it, but then if you think of it, like what purpose does it serve? And I believe somewhere, to give a more comfortable hang to the trousers, the waistcoat instead covers a pair of braces, suspenders. So I mean, historically, when men were wearing pants with these suspenders, which again is a ridiculous thing to wear, in my opinion at least, they wanted to hide it, and then that's why waistcoats were being worn. But now people, even after belts came into picture, people still wear waistcoats just as I don't know, like a fashion thing or whatnot. And Hugo Jacobi, by the way, he's an advocate of the suspenders. He mentions in his videos he never wears belts. He wears the side buttons, like that tightens your pants, or suspenders. But personally, I think suspenders are so ridiculous to wear. But then again, that could be a result of like this TV programming where suspenders are generally like these old people with stubborn mindset and nerds. They show that's how they stereotype as the suspenders, right? That these people wear more of suspenders. So, but my thinking could be a result of that programming as well. But at least that's what I feel now. Suspenders is such a ridiculous thing to wear. And now comes the zippers. Now I'm still reading about the zippers, so maybe I'll put it out in the next video. So look at this. This is how people in the 18th century wearing pants, right? Look at this. There is a front thing that opens, Probably if for the convenience of pissing or whatnot, if you want to look at this one, like this one. So if you want to take a nature's call, maybe you open this is such a ridiculous thing to wear, and look how many buttons are there. That is probably the reason why they find it unattractive. I mean, having a lot of buttons, right? And so this is now being replaced by a zipper in the current generation. uh, right, so your buttons, how many buttons in the front? Now I kind of understand why they probably hated these buttons. It's like it takes your attention, like it brings a lot of unwanted attention to that area, that part of your body. It's probably the reason why they. Hmm. Look at this. Wow. Okay, so I'll post another video. If you guys like this topic or content, like, let me know. Leave a comment or like the video for YouTube algorithm. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.